What's up guys, DuArktik with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we're gonna talk about Super Skrull, because it seems like Scopely did a big oopsie, and it was not the first time, it was actually the second time, and they made Super Skrull go Super Saiyan, because now he's even more powerful than before. And the counters that we had in the past, like Black Knight and like Cabal, they are done. They are completely done. And I'm not sure if Scopely does this on purpose or what's the goal, but they keep nerfing Super Skrull without realizing it, or boosting Super Skrull without realizing it. And this makes the meta fun, but not fun for everyone, because if you don't pay attention to these details, you might face these teams in the future and get absolutely cock-blocked by them. So in this video, we're going to take a look on how Scopely nerfed their own counters against Super Skrull, and now they supercharged Super Skrull, making him again one of the most powerful characters in Marvel Strike Force, and one of the most challenging characters to deal with in Alliance Wars and also in Cosmic Crucible. So, as always, if you like the information on these videos, make sure you share it to your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button like a boss. And make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video, where we'll take a look at what's the characters you should pair up with Skrull to make him very powerful in Alliance Wars and also in Cosmic Crucible. Okay, so Super Skrull was always very powerful because of his speed bar mechanic. Whenever enemies gain positive effects, he gets more speed bar. Whenever allies get negative effects, he gets more speed bar as well. And then he can apply Expose to the enemies, which will stop them from getting powerful buffs like Safeguard. So overall, this guy was always going to be very powerful, especially if you can pair him up with heroes and with villains. Now, you don't have to do this. He's still going to be great with just heroes over just villains, but he's always still going to be very powerful. Now, when you take a look at the counters that we had for Super Skrull recently, we had Black Knight, right? Black Knight was kind of made to counter Super Skrull, because every time Super Skrull would go and attack, he would get trauma, and he would also get a big chunk of damage into his face. And this was a great way to counter Super Skrull, because every time that Skrull would attack, he would get punished. Now, Black Knight praised the sun, he would attack Super Skrull based on having charges. So for each of the charges that Black Knight would lose, until he gets 0 charges, then he gets 100% more speed bar. So Black Knight would become very fast as well as soon as he would drop all these charges. And once again, because Skrull goes so fast, Black Knight would also go faster with every charge that he loses. So overall, this was a great way that Scopely made to counter Super Skrull. And Black Knight overall became one of the most popular characters after that. But then Scopely did a big oopsie, and many people, many alliances did not realize this right away, is that North Star, he absolutely counters Black Knight. And this was something that I always did, and some people copy my ideas and then they started to... It was just a nonsense, but I always said that use the counter of the counter to counter their counter, right? This started off with Sinister 6, Superior 6. What counters Sinister 6 and Superior 6? Well, it's Super Skrull. So what counters Super Skrull? Black Knight. Okay, so we moved on from that. So we made Sinister 6 more powerful because we had Black Knight and people could not use Super Skrull there. After that, we had the opposite situation, right? What counters Black Knight? Well, it's North Star, because North Star blocks the enemies from gaining charges. Now we also have Ares, that as long as Ares is charged, enemies that are not mythical cannot gain charges as well, which include Black Knight. So we're gonna use the counter of the counter to counter their counters, right? And then we can also think the opposite, right? So if this character, if Super Skrull is countered by Black Knight, and Black Knight counters Super Skrull because he has the charges from his passive, well, then we're gonna use North Star or Ares to counter these Black Knights. And therefore, we're gonna supercharge Super Skrull because now North Star or Ares will be able to protect Super Skrull from the Black Knights, right? And this was a major change for Alliance Wars. My alliance started to do this from day one, and we have been able to pretty much win most of the wars, at least like out of 6 wars, we usually win 5 of them, because of this crazy mechanic that Skrull didn't even realize. So yeah, we use the counter of the counter to counter the counter, but then you want to put the counter of the counter together with the Super Skrull to make sure he gets supercharged. So this enabled a lot of insane combinations. In Alliance Wars, we have Alpha Flight, which, let's be honest, Alpha Flight is still a trash team. It was a terrible release. But as soon as you put Super Skrull on this team instead of Wolverine, then this team becomes much, much better. It really overcharges this team, making it one of the best Alliance Wars defenses that you can have. And now we have the same problem for Cosmic Crucible. Once again, Skrull really makes a doozy, really makes they really shit their pants with this one, and they bring Gladiator to the game, and they give him insane abilities. Like Gladiator is just so good, especially in Arena, but not only in Arena. And once again, Gladiator is going to supercharge Super Skrull because of the mechanics, right? So in Cosmic Crucible, which team is the team that is most commonly used to defeat Super Skrull? Well, it's the Cabal, right? We're gonna use the Cabal. The Cabal is going to stop Super Skrull from getting speed bar, and this happens because of the passive of Iron Patriot, right? On spawn, apply vulnerability to all enemies, and if the enemies have vulnerability, they cannot gain a speed bar. If this character has 2 or more Cabal allies and the enemies have vulnerability, they cannot fill up speed bar. So guess what? Big oopsie from Skrull. Once again, they're gonna counter the counter that they developed against Skrull, right? Once again, they developed Cabal to counter Skrull, but now we have Gladiator, and Gladiator passive prevents any kind of expose or vulnerable. All allies cannot gain expose or vulnerable. That means that Cabal will no longer work against Skrull if you have Gladiator on your team. And that's a good thing, because you want to have Gladiator with a Skrull, because it's going to allow you to have heroes and villains. It's just crazy. Once again, major oopsie, and now once again Skrull is back to his full potential, and once again he's gonna be able to obliterate the enemies very easily. Of course, this is also working in Alliance Wars, but in Alliance Wars right now I still prefer Super Skrull with Alpha Flight, and in Cosmic Crucible we're gonna use Skrull with the Gladiator. This is gonna be probably one of the best Cosmic Crucible defensive teams that you can make. And once again, for people that will not watch this video, they're gonna try to use their Cabal against that team, and they're gonna get absolutely destroyed because it no longer works. Now, there are a few elements that you need to be aware of, like the position of the characters, because if the characters are on certain positions, their abilities might not activate on the correct order. So make sure you stay tuned for some content that will come on my Patreon, which is my best defense for Cosmic Crucible Season 9 that you can use right now. And I want to apologize for neglecting my Patreon members for a little bit, but because I was in my country on quote-unquote holidays, and now there are a lot of things going on, it has been a little bit difficult to update content on Patreon, but this is going to be I'm gonna put there as soon as possible. The best defense that you can use as soon as you unlock a Gladiator, of course. But yeah, this Gladiator passive, believe me, this is gonna cause a lot of problems for Scopely in the future. Because yeah, it's pretty easy to get 2 or more Annihilator allies, and at the same time have a slot to plug in Super Skrull with, and because some of these characters are cosmic, they also have synergies with other cosmic characters. Some of them villains, other of them heroes, but it's gonna be quite interesting. But make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you guys join the live streams, as next week we'll be using this insane Alliance Cosmic Crucible meta, not Alliance Wars. Alliance Wars you should also check out, but make sure to check out these upcoming live streams where we'll be rocking insane defense and see what the opponents are going to do. Are they just going to cry and take the L's, or is there some workaround that Scopely will eventually come up with? Because this is just way too OP. Like the way that Super Skrull gets overpowered and Cabal becomes absolute trash is just too much. So that's gonna be the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Once again, if you are a Patreon member, make sure you guys stay tuned for the post for these best Cosmic Crucible defensive teams, and also make sure that you stay tuned for future updates that we'll have on the channel and on the Patreon as well. And as always, if you like information on these videos, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.